Stand by to initiate release sequencer. On my mark. 5.
We're on express elevator to hell. Going down.
2. 1. Mark.
Hello, everyone. My name is Mark, a.k.a. Derringer. Today is Sunday, October 29th, and you are listening to episode 129 of the Instant Action Podcast, your weekly source for Planetside 2 news and information. As always, I'm brought to you by great listeners like you via the Support the Show tab on instantactionpodcast.com. So I'm sure your first question this week is what's been going on in the life of Derringer and Planetside 2, and, well, I have bad news to report, I guess, in that I've played very little Planetside 2 because Destiny 2 has pretty much taken over all my free gaming time. I mean, I played last Monday before Destiny 2 came out, but every other day this week, it's been Destiny 2 whenever I have had any free time, and I've always said Planetside 2 is my favorite game, and it is. And just like Planetside 1 was my favorite game of all time. So don't worry about me just disappearing from doing podcasts for Planetside 2, because I will continue to podcast for Planetside 2 until we get to a point where the game has hit, a low point of stagnation and players are leaving in droves or something along those lines. Just because I'm playing another game currently doesn't mean that I'm going to quit podcasting about Planetside 2, because it is a love of mine and something I enjoy doing. So let's just make sure I get that out of the way. But like I said, that being said, I have been playing not a ton of Destiny 2, because I'm not going to lie, my play sessions are usually a couple hours each night during the week, and then weekends are usually so busy that I'm lucky if I get an hour or two here or there to do something within any game. I play very little Planetside 2 over the weekends, even though I know this weekend was a double XP weekend for members, and I would have liked to have gotten into it, but I'm not going to lie, this weekend has been absolutely... it's been full every friggin' second of the day, between having out-of-town guests staying with us to... another college visit with my daughter, and then I play soccer on Sunday mornings and had a hell of a game this morning. So, like I said, very little downtime over this weekend to even take advantage of that double XP, which is too bad. But again, the last double XP weekend was when I was really pushing to BR 120 on my NC character, and now that I've done that, there's not really the need to log in and force myself to... Not so much force myself, but to really play the heck out of a double XP weekend. So, like I said, a lot of Destiny 2 stuff. And I still haven't even finished the campaign, but I'm obviously already level 20 and working on my light level as we speak. I may log into actually Planetside 2 tonight just to play a little bit of the double XP weekend so I can say that I did. But I'm not going to lie, my heart really says, screw that, play Destiny 2. So we'll see. And I am loving Destiny 2 on the PC. It just didn't feel the same playing it on console as it does playing it on PC right now, and the controls feel great. The graphics are amazing. Just really, really good on the PC right now. So I'm definitely enjoying playing Destiny 2. And like I said, I get to play with my old friend Torx on Destiny 2 on the PC, because he is actually in the clan that I'm in. He actually founded the clan that I'm in, and so he and I are playing around in game and doing stuff together again, which is a good thing, because I miss playing with him and playing with Nox and just shooting the shit about different games that we play. So with that, let's actually talk about what's in store this week, because even though I didn't play a lot of Planetside 2, there's still stuff going on within the game itself. So first, I have a PS4 game update to talk about, then a PC hotfix to cover. After that, I want to talk about the new UI programmer, and then finish up the show by talking about two of Iridar's newest projects that I'm sure everyone will find useful, because I certainly know that I did. So strap in as we hot drop into another episode of the Instant Action Podcast. So first, like I said, I want to talk about the PS4 game update. This actually dropped after the PC hotfix that I'm going to talk about in a minute. The PS4 game update arrived on October 26th. This is this past Wednesday. It hit both the US and the EU at the same time. And the biggest thing that it brought, obviously, was the Night of the Living Dead 4 event to the PS4. So you've got your pumpkin hunting, you've got your Halloween directives, you've got all your seasonal items in the depot, you've got the Galacta-Lantern and the Space Pumpkin grenades, you've got the Flame Riders in the game as well. So everything that you could get on the PC side is now on the PS4 side as well. But in addition to that, because I'm not going to go through every single thing that's in this update because there's no need. But there were a few other things that dropped on the PS4 side that I wanted to talk about. And the biggest one was that they added the NSX Daimyo to the PS4 side. Now, again, this is the sniper rifle for the NSX sniper rifle. So if you are a PS4 player and wanted to play around with the Daimyo, it is now in the game. And also, Ambusher jump jets have also made it to the PS4. These are the new jump jets for the light assault that launch you a decent distance, but pretty much straight ahead. Those are available on the PS4, but that they know, or the devs know, that they're currently broken. So they're going to be re-enabling them in a future or upcoming hotfix. So know that they're still working on them, and they should be out for the PS4 sooner rather than later. And that was that update in a nutshell. So, again, a lot of the stuff that I covered on last week's show, I'm not going to delve through them a second time because they're pretty much all the same. But I do instead want to move on and talk about the October 24th PC hotfix. And this brought the Night of the Living Dead Phase 2 to the game. And with this, and I believe all this same stuff went to the PS4 side as well, is that they're reducing the requirements of the directive because they felt that it was too much of a grind. So there's a couple known issues with the Necromancer and the Toil and Trouble directive lines that are including ribbons earned in past years. They're going to leave that as it is, but there's some other changes that they've made so that it's much less of a grind. They also added the Flame Rider tires to the unlockable section. You know, this was something that wasn't in there originally, and things like that. So let's first start by talking about the Hallow Hunter. Excuse me, all the different directives for Halloween. My goodness, I'm coughing up a storm here. Hold on while I take a sip of coffee. All right, thank goodness for coffee and other liquid beverages. So first up, the Hallow Hunter directive. The number of kills to earn a ribbon for this was changed down to 4. It was originally 10, so they have more than halved the Hallow Hunter achievement now. Also, for the Necromancer, they've made some changes to that one as well. The first 2 levels, the Novice and the Adept levels, have not changed. You're still going to need the same amount of kills. But once you move to Expert, they halved that one as well, so you only need 30 kills instead of 60. And for the Master, they obliterated that one. It used to be you needed 250, now it's down to 50. So certainly cut that one a lot. They did the same thing with Toil and Trouble. Again, Novice and Adept are the same, but Expert and Master both got halved, and then, like I said, Master got massively reduced. So again, you only need 30 at Expert and 50 at Master. When we move on to the Vengeful Spirit one, again, Novice and Adept have not changed. Expert was halved. It used to be 100. It's now down to 50. And Master went from 300 all the way down to 100. So I guess I probably should have explained what each of those was as I was going through them. So for those that are confused, the Hallow Hunter, that's the one for getting ribbons for killing targets with Halloween weapons. The Necromancer one is the revive ribbons while wearing a Halloween mask. The Toil and Trouble is the Engineer one, resupply ribbons with a Halloween mask equipped. Vengeful Spirit is the melee kills with either the Vampire or Nightmare implant equipped. Moving on to the last one, this is the Headless Horseman one. Headless Horseman is kills from a flash while wearing a Halloween mask or helmet. Again, Novice and Adept have not changed, but Expert, just like Vengeful Spirit, went from 100 down to 50, so halved, and Master went from 300 down to 100. So certainly you can see they've definitely nerfed, in a good way, the number of ribbons that you have to earn with each of these. It definitely feels like a lot less of a grind at this particular point. And maybe in addition to being less grindy for players, it's also going to eliminate some of that feeling that, oh my God, all I see is people on flashes, driving around killing people, or all I see is infiltrators with knives running at me. After people get what they're trying to get out of this, including the phylactery implant, that we'll see a lot of this kind of drop off within the game itself. And to me, that's a good thing, because it's kind of annoying seeing so many flashes and so many stalker infils running at me with knives at this point in the game itself. Next, like I said, they've added the Flame Rider cosmetics, and these are basically tires that are on fire, and it's on your Flash and Harasser. You can get them with the Pumpkin Seed currency or buy them outright with Daybreak Cash. You can check them out in the virtual reality training room if you need to, before purchasing them if you'd like to. Next, we had a few quality of life features added, and I think this is probably because we have the new UI programmer, so certainly good stuff that we're starting to see. First off is they added a manual input for settings for all sliders. So anything that was a slider like mouse sensitivity or things like that, you can now input a number directly into it rather than using the slider itself. And this is going to allow for some more precision. Now, yes, I know you could actually go into the user options INI file and edit them yourself there as well, but not everybody likes to go and edit a game file, even though it's expressly allowed by Daybreak Games. Next, active alerts are now shown on the map screen, and this is, it's alongside the win condition for that alert itself. It's a kind of a big bar up in the middle of the screen. I don't like it personally, but it's at least doing a decent job showing what's going on when you're in the map. Next, we had some miscellaneous fixes, etc., and the first relates to the pumpkins themselves, and also this will also relate to the snowmen when the Christmas directives or the Christmas event comes. So the pumpkin and snowman health was halved. It used to be 1,000, now it's down to 500. But they did also add some resist to small arms and anti-material rifle fire. They also updated the visuals of the phylactery so it more matches what they showed on their most recent live stream. The phylactery will also now appear in the nanocycler and loadout screens. And if you own the single phylactery implant, it's no longer going to break down. I know a lot of players what you'd do is you'd have the thing where you'd get some implants and then you'd click the breakdown duplicates and it would break down your phylactery, and people were like, didn't know that was going to happen. So anybody who had that happen to them will have their implant refunded, and certainly not to worry about it. Next, we had a couple things that didn't make it to the last fix that were supposed to, like some walker minimum damage changes, some stuff about using any mask to complete the Headless Horseman directive, some tooltips, some render issues, things like that. And I guess the other big one is the Ride of the Valkyrie's Horn cooldown was changed from a 5-second cooldown to a 2.5-second cooldown. And that's because it was broken when it was being used at 5 seconds. It wouldn't finish playing fully. So again, not a huge hotfix or anything like that. And again, I believe that everything that is in this hotfix also was included in the PS4 game update. So you should be having the same easier to complete Halloween directives like we do on the PC. And with that, let's move on to our second topic this week. So second up this week, like I said, I wanted to talk about the UI programmer a little bit. Obviously, we still don't know what their name is or anything like that. That's all kind of hush-hush at this particular point, but that's fine. instead, I'm going to talk about a tweet that Rel had thrown out, at least one tweet that he pushed out saying that, new UI stuff is coming to the game. And within that tweet, he included a picture. And it's just a screenshot. But within the screenshot itself, you can already see some of the UI improvements that they've put into the game itself. You've got a much more streamlined mini-map with information displayed on it, like your number of certs, your current nanites, your current ISO, and any XP modifier. There's also some little lock icons over points that are not capturable, which is kind of an interesting little addition. But the big thing is that this stuff is coming to the game, and now that we finally have a UI programmer, some of these little things can start to be fixed in the game itself. I'll include a link to this Reddit post in this week's show notes in case you guys want to go and check out the picture yourself. But it's very, it gives me hope that a lot of the little UI things that people hate or complain about, or maybe a lot of the UI stuff that Vindicor has put together over the years at this point, that we might see some of those things finally make it into the game itself. Even if they don't all make it, having some of them make it would be a really good thing. But I'm pleased to see that we have some sort of beginning things happening within the game itself. And again, it really gives me hope that some of the annoying things within the game itself that everyone has wanted to see change forever, that we might be able to start seeing some of these things get changed. Next, I'm hoping that they're actually going to let us know what this person's name is, what their background is, where they came from, because they're kind of the big man on campus right now that nobody really knows about. Paul Giaggio obviously is, made his presence known on the last couple dev live streams with things that he's been working on. But I think I'd love to find out who this UI programmer is and actually talk to them and find out if they're working solely on Planetside 2 or if maybe they're also moonlighting doing stuff on H1Z1 as well, or if it's somebody who they pulled over off of H1Z1 finally to work on Planetside 2 as well. There's just so many unanswered questions regarding this new UI programmer that I would actually like to learn more about them, and I'm sure a lot of people in the community would like to learn more about them as well. Of course, I did see a funny comment that said, just introduce them to the community, but keep them off of Reddit because that's where all the shit seems to go down. Plus, I think Rel kind of relishes being the main person on Reddit right now, taking all the abuse and dishing out all the abuse back at people. So, again, just a small topic to talk about, because besides that last game update, there's not a heck of a lot going on within the game itself right now, because everybody's really pushing through their Halloween stuff. But I'm happy to see that we're getting something regarding UI improvements. So, Rel, if you're listening to this week's show, please tweet us some more pictures so we have more pretty things to look at when more UI improvements come down the road. And with that, let's move on to our next topic this week. Now, next up this week, I want to talk about my first of two topics regarding Iridar. And everybody knows Iridar.net at this point is probably the premier place to go and get information about the game itself. But he's launched a couple new things within the game. And the first one that he launched, this is back on October 10th. So I'm a little late to the party on this particular one. But I saw it when it was announced, so it's not like I didn't know it existed. But he included a new write-up on his website about how to record, edit, and upload Planetside 2 videos. And obviously I record, edit, and upload Planetside 2 videos, if you guys didn't know. Every week's show, in addition to coming out in podcast format, also comes out on YouTube, so you can watch some of my shitty gameplay as I play the show over that shitty gameplay. Lately, it's been a lot of max play because I don't really have anything I'm striving to do in the game except kill people with maxes and laugh about it. But again, Iridar put together a very good thing about, or a good site about, how to make recordings in-game within Planetside 2. He also talks about the best ways to have your your file encoded. He also has a whole thing on how your GPU acceleration might work to give you better recordings, how some hardware acceleration options and technology that you can use, some hardware GPU acceleration technologies, some software GPU acceleration things that you could use. He also talks about the different file sizes, also about different efficiency and things like that when you're actually recording some of your videos. He talks about the different bit rates that people can use. He also talks about how to ultimately transcode the video itself. But the biggest part that I liked was a section on how to record the videos themselves. And he does give some specifics based on what type of graphic card you have, whether you're using a Radeon or an NVIDIA card, or I guess an AMD card or an NVIDIA card, and which version of software that they use. Because AMD uses something called Relive, and NVIDIA uses something called Shadowplay. And he also shows how to use those different things. But on top of that, he also talks about some other ways to record your video itself, some hardware options, but in addition to the two that are built into the graphics cards, also some other software options like Plays.tv or OBS Studio, things like that you can actually use and play, to record your game itself. Now, I've been using OBS Broadcaster personally to record my gameplay sessions, but on Iridar's site, there's a whole good thing about how to use this software called OBS Studio instead, and OBS Studio has an option to work just like Relive or Shadowplay to constantly record your gameplay, but then save the last X minutes of video based on a key press. Now, if you're like me, I cannot get Shadowplay to work for the life of me, and I don't know why it's not working. It might be because I'm not playing Planetside 2 in full screen. I like to do it in a full screen windowed mode, and I hear that has issues with Shadowplay, but that's neither here nor there. So I'm certainly thinking about installing OBS Studio instead and using Iridar's guide here to record some different things like that. Now, he also, after giving the different things about how to record your video, he also gives some information about editing your videos. He recommends a basic video editing item called Avidemux. I've never heard of it myself. Avidemux. I guess it's a free software. Other people also use Handbrake as an encoder. I personally use Sony Vegas myself. I like Sony Vegas. I'm used to Sony Vegas, so I'm not about to switch over and do something different based on the information on his site. Again, I've paid for a license for it. That's why I use that particular software. But he also does give some suggestions for automatically uploading your files to YouTube or things like that. Ways to resize your video, to sharpen it, and things like that. He also does go into a full section of advanced editings using tools like I am, like Vegas Pro, or other people are using Adobe After Effects, and some suggestions on how to create projects, edit projects, and do things within that itself. All in all, this is a huge undertaking that he went through, full of good videos, good topics. This is, if you've never recorded a video in Planetside 2 and you want to record videos in Planetside 2, go to iridar.net and find the link for this file and go through this whole thing. Because, like I said, there's so much good information here, and it's basically a start to finish guide on A, how to set your system up to record gameplay, and then B, how to take that recorded gameplay, put it into a piece of video editing software, and spit out something that you can then upload to YouTube for other people to watch. And again, I've been recording my play sessions and uploading them to YouTube with the show for a while now, but I still learned some good stuff out of this, and there's things that I'm going to change regarding my setup to take advantage of the stuff that I learned from Iridar's website. So hats off to Iridar for putting this thing together, and I'm sorry it took me a couple weeks to actually sit down and talk about this. Again, I will include a link to this in this week's show notes, so if you want to go and check it out yourself, I definitely highly recommend it. And with that, let's move to the second thing that Iridar has recently come out with. So like I said, Iridar has 2 new sites on his iridar.net gaming blog. And the second is that he's started offering a PC building services. And I guess this is the show about Iridar this week. I hope he doesn't get a big head for me talking about him so much. But again, he's launched a PC building service. And you might be thinking, well, why would I need a PC building service? I can just go, to Dell, or I can just go to HP, or I can go to iBuyPower or something like that and have those places build a PC for me. But that's not really what Iridar's offering on his PC building service. He's not going to build a PC for you. Instead, what he's going to do is offer help, advice, and consultation on picking the most cost-efficient components. And he's really drilling down into playing Planetside 2 and how to play Planetside 2 efficiently and well, getting everything that you get out of the game itself with whatever setup that you have. So basically, use this as a consultation service if you're looking to either build a new PC or update your existing PC. And the good thing is, he's not asking for any money out of this one. Payment is optional. So if you'd like to make a donation to him for helping you out, pick some components, you certainly can. And really all that you need to do is contact him. And you can either do it via his iridar.net website. You can catch him on Reddit as well. You can send him a direct message on Twitter. There's a whole bunch of ways to get in touch with him. And once you get in touch with him, he's going to look for information like, where you live, can you build your own PC, or do you have somebody who's going to be able to help you? How often are you willing to upgrade your PC? Would you buy used parts? He's looking for what your current PC, if you have one, is. If you're going to keep any parts on a new build. Is Planetside 2 the only game that you're playing? Which should probably be no for most people. But he also wants to know if you're going to do any professional work on it, what your graphics preference is between NVIDIA or AMD. And finally, if you are using a monitor with a refresh rate greater than 120 hertz. And with this information, he'll be able to give you some feedback on potentially, with a little bit of back and forth. And the reason I say back and forth is because I am currently in the market to upgrade my graphics card. I'm using a GTX 760 right now, and I know the 760 is kind of on the low end for everything that I'm doing. It still plays all the games that I need to play currently, but I think it's time to upgrade to either a 1060 or a GTX 1060 or one of the Radeon 580s at this point, to kind of take advantage of the newer technology. I think it's been 3 or 4 years since I've upgraded my graphics card at this point, so it's certainly time. I might need to time it a little bit better after more of this mining craze ends to get some better prices on them. But again, it's definitely time for me to upgrade my graphics card. So I reached out to Iridar and I said, I'm going to talk about your new site on my next show. So I'd like to actually use you so I can have a better understanding of exactly what's going on. So I answered his entire list of questions, and he fired back to me and said, before we even upgrade your graphics card, let's try a whole bunch of different things to see if we can eke some better performance out of Planetside 2. And I'm currently trying to find some free time to do some of that stuff. But on top of that, he's also made some recommendations on the different video cards that are out there. He's kind of in agreement with me that either a 1060 or a 580 is the way to go right now. I asked him for his opinion on those various cards themselves, and he gave me some feedback regarding that. And it's been a really good back and forth between him and I. getting some opinions and some thoughts and some information on what the current graphic card market is like, what my current options are, and potentially what route that I will most likely be going, or if I even need to upgrade my video card, my graphics card at all at this particular point. So if you are like me and in this kind of boat where you're looking to make an upgrade at this point, I know a few people are talking about getting the new Coffee Lake CPUs that are coming out, and other people are talking about the 1070 Ti that just came out and things like that. So if you're looking for some help, some information, some one-on-one with someone on what your next upgrades could be or how to build a new computer, I can't recommend Iridar's service here enough. And I can tell you for sure that once I'm done with the process and make my final decision, that I will definitely make a donation to him for the help that he has given me. Iridar is a respected member of the Planetside 2 community, so I trust what he's telling me implicitly. So I don't want this to sound like just an ad for his service here, but like I said, I'm having a positive experience using it, and I think if you're in the same boat as me, you most likely will as well. So again, go to iridar.net, and there'll be a link for his PC building services right at the top of his website. At this point, I highly recommend it. And with that, let's move into housekeeping this week and wrap up this show.
Housekeeping! Housekeeping!
Come back later, please.
Housekeeping!
Not now.
Housekeeping!
Go away.
I coming anyway?
So I did get a couple emails this week. Thank you to everybody who sent me an email to instantactionshow@gmail.com. The first one came courtesy of Pipeline Audio, and it's been a while since I've heard from him. Those who are longtime listeners will remember that he loves to forward me the Pink Fairies shenanigans, I think is the best way to say it. And this week he forwarded me 2 YouTube videos that I'll include in this week's show notes, showing how they have gotten a mag rider on top of a biolab. And I love watching when they put things in strange places like that, and getting the mag rider on top of the biolab, because obviously it's all nice and solid now and much easier to drive around on. Hilarious video of them getting that mag rider up on top of the biolab. But he also writes, they still haven't fixed the new ant graphics so that your Araxium trim shows through the new attachments. Who do I de-res for this? And I think Pipeline Audio, your best bet is to complain. First, go to Iridar's website and figure out how to record videos, and record video of the ant graphics not showing the Araxium trim and post it on Reddit and tag Rel. That's the first thing that I would do. But thank you again for the email, and I do love watching your guys' videos, so please send me more. Next, like I said, I did get 2 emails. I got an email from Sevarm Knight. Hello, PS4 side. And he writes, I heard that PC side of Destiny is having a shitstorm of bans. I was wondering that you got caught in the crossfire. Anyways, I hope all goes good on your side. Love your show. Keep it up. Thanks, Sevarm Knight. I did not get caught in the bans on Destiny 2 because I do not modify my game files to take advantage and therefore get banned. I have survived the bans and have been playing as much Destiny 2 as I possibly can. But again, thank you both for the emails this week. But that's going to be it for this week's show. So as you always ask, how can you get in touch with me or the show? First off, you can always go to my website, www.instantactionpodcast. Every way to contact me is always there. Next, you can email me like Pipeline Audio and Sevarm Knight did this week, instantactionshow@gmail.com. Anyone can always call me and leave me a voicemail, 347-486-4772. That's 347-4VM-4PS2. The show's Twitter is @InstactPodcast, and my personal Twitter is @TheDerringer. And as always, in closing, if you've enjoyed the show, please leave me a review on your podcast listening avenue of choice, whether it's iTunes, Stitcher, Google Play, or anywhere else. Also, feel free to tell your friends and outfit mates about the show. And finally, thanks for listening, and keep spamming that Join Combat, formerly known as Instant Action button.